I think at one point I just had so much anger at the world that I decided like I'm just gonna become bigger and more jacked than anyone can imagine. And I was just like, I'm gonna put my all into this. I'd pack the jar in my backpack, bring it to the dining court, set it down on the floor, get a giant ass plate of cookies, and when no one's watching, just slide that shit down the jar.
What has been one of the moments that you feel like humbled you?
Honestly, a lot, dude.
Welcome back to the Y2K show again on this same episode. Woo! We're gonna continue on whatever. All right, so I've obviously missed out the last five minutes. What happened? What I missed?
A lot
Absolutely.
happened.
A lot happened.
Oh,
I
dude.
pulled his pants down. He pulled mine down. Things happened. Chris watched.
Who came
Nyle
first?
took Cialis.
Me. He actually did take Cialis within the 5 minutes.
Wait, did you actually?
Chris said that he was following me before he met me.
I was
so
a big fanboy.
I told him to chill out because I took Cialis before this. Just for the blood pressure reasons.
That's actually true. I think every single one of us followed you before we all met. Like we had seen you prior, for sure.
Yeah, this dude had the
Really?
coolest fucking hair and the most aesthetic body.
Yeah, you know, how many Asians,
Had.
dude? How many
said
Asians do you
had.
see with
I was just
tattoos?
playing.
Oh, I was like, whoa. I was like, dude, he still has some sick hair.
Oh
Yeah.
no, yeah. Like I was gonna say, like your look is so distinct. How many Asians do you see with snake bites, nose piercing, ear piercing, tatted, and jacked as
Yeah.
shit? Like before now, that was not really like a thing. It's
Yeah.
still slowly becoming a thing right now.
Yeah, that was during the time of when bodybuilding, I feel like, and fitness was just blowing up. So I feel like all the Asians out there right then, it was like Jeremy Buendia, who else? Stephen Cow,
Yeah.
and then who was the other guy?
Chris.
And
Chris
like,
Har-
OG
was that-
like Stan McQuay, right? Those were
Yeah,
like
Chris
the OG.
Harriet was calisthenics.
Yeah. But like,
Is he Asian?
Yeah.
He is.
Did
Oh
you
shit!
bury?
I don't know him.
What?
No, I thought he was white. Is he like Hoppa?
I think he's Hoppa.
Okay, so he's half Asian. That's why. Not relatable.
He's an Andrew. He's an Andrew.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why he looks like Hoppa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the time that like when I saw you, I was like, oh, this guy looks like something I can actually achieve. And then also it's just like the aesthetics alone and like your videography, everything was what. What?
Oh,
what
I
are you
say-
gonna-
I just looked at Nyle
No,
and
it's all
I looked
you.
at
That's
his
something I
body
could
and I thought I could
No, no, no.
achieve.
Dude, I heard that. I was
no,
like,
no,
He
no,
looks like
no,
fucking
very relatable.
Baki.
No. Back in the day, it was just like when I was going through my fitness journey.
You're
No,
canceled. You're
very
delusional.
relatable. I was just like, some of these guys
This
like
man looks like a fucking action figure. No one looks like this
like
man.
art,
Dude,
like
looks
artists.
like
No,
Goku's
no,
build.
no. Like back then, you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It was
I
like
don't get it.
it's like when I see like the 212 division guys, I can't relate to that. I can't relate to that. You know,
Yeah.
But I'm going through my own journey right now, and I couldn't relate to that. But like now, when he popped up, I was like, oh, this guy is like, I love it.
Yeah.
You
Thanks,
know?
bro.
Epitome.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. So, did you have
I'm
some
so
sort?
lost at like the part where he said I could attain that. I was
No.
like,
Like it's relatable. It's something that's not so
do you-
far off.
Oh,
Like-
do you mean like someone kind of looks like?
No,
like,
I'm talking. You know the 212 division bodybuilders. Like, do you know
Okay,
those
yeah,
guys? Like,
yeah,
they're
like
not.
It's not like an open
They're not
bodybuilder,
even
yeah.
close to anything that I would want or like attainable, right?
Oh, you're talking about like now it was more aesthetic.
That's what
like,
I just said. And
Okay,
you guys
okay,
are like
okay.
talking shit, bro. I'm like, what are you guys laughing about?
If anything, you were talking shit. But
What do you mean, me? That's
he
not
looks.
talking shit.
It's achievable.
No, I'm trying to like go through that journey. It's just like it was
I love picking.
I get it.
Yeah.
They're fucking with you, hella. They're fucking with you so hard right now.
like you can't. I did so hard right now. You guys are making me feel crazy.
But actually, so what is? I actually want to know. Well, I mean, I do know a little bit, but obviously, let's tell everyone else like what actually got you into like lifting weights.
I was just fat as a kid and grew up in Texas, College Station, Texas, and then parents wanted to move to Arkansas, so I was just surrounded in like a predominantly white, maybe some black, but just like no Asian
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
Where we
it was
were.
like really racist back in the day because
I was about to say that Arkansas, I feel like would probably come with a slew of problems. Like we thought we grew up in a, you know, when we're growing up,
Yeah.
facing what normal Asians face. But I feel like
Yeah.
where you are, it's like at least LA, there's like a demographic of Asians. I feel like did you feel a little bit even more isolated than?
yeah, I felt like an alien, to be honest. And honestly, people would just bully you just if you're different. So not only was I like Asian and then no one looked like me, but I was also really fat. I was also super overweight up till the age of 12. So And then, Asian parents aren't some Asian parents can't be really empathetic. They're kind of just stone faced. This is how it is. Like, if you're fat, you look like shit. You don't make the family look good. So, basically it was just kind of like I'm alone, and I just kind of needed to fucking make a change, or else I'd be like depressed for the rest of my life.
At what point did you I'm assuming you didn't go into it straight into like, okay, I'm gonna make content, I'm gonna be a bodybuilder. Like, when did that click? Right? When did all of that come together where you're like, I'm gonna go for this as well? Because it's a pretty crazy journey. You are not a small name in that industry.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, like
I do feel
like,
pretty
no,
small, but
let's not like downplay it. Like, I think sometimes you can get lost in translation because we're all boys, but like, you're not a small name. Like, there is a ton of impact that you've made in so many different aspects of different communities. But I'm sure like you didn't have that in mind when you first started going to the gym. Like, when did that click where you're like, I have something that I'm going to put out there?
I think just my childhood and like what I was put into basically just made me feel like I needed to prove myself in some sort of way, and the way that my parents wanted me to I guess show up for the world wasn't necessarily the way that was passionate for me or the way that I enjoyed, right? I didn't want to just become a doctor or something. So I guess when I started lifting, it just slowly became my thing because I started when I was about 12 years old. And not too many people are lifting around that age, unless... Yeah, like, dude, it was just from, like, football conditioning. Like, when they... Like, in middle school, when you're in football, you're usually doing, like, flag football or some shit like that. And then finally middle school comes around and they kind of, like, introduce you to the weights in the gym. Right. And when I did bench press, I realized I was pretty strong because my parents tried to put me in, like, every sport, including karate. So... we would just be doing push-ups all the time. And I think just carrying my own weight probably gave me a little head up in training. So by the time I got to the weight room, I was a little bit stronger than others. So that I just kind of felt like, have you ever heard of like, I'm trying to remember what the statement is, but it's like, it's not like we pick the sport that we're primed for, not, have you heard of that statement? Do you know what I'm talking
like
about?
if you're good at something, you're naturally going to like want to lean into it, or like if something gives you like a little bit of, obviously we're not aware of dopamine as a kid, but like if you're like you were stronger than you thought you were going to be, or like you're stronger than the people around you, I feel like it would naturally make you more because that makes you feel good. Yeah, it would make you lean into like that sport.
I just felt like it was a place where I could actually excel, and also obviously I just wanted to have a good body. I was tired of being called fat and like being picked last for scrimmages and all this shit, and I'm just like, you know what, like I'm tired of feeling like less than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just started training, doing the whole bodybuilding arc and everything.
So what was like that's what I actually want to know, when you did start doing content or when you did get into lifting and started seeing the shape, what was the video that like basically made you go, I'm going to start doing content? Or like, what was like that turning point video you made, or maybe a moment in your life where you're like, oh shit, I have something going, or like, this is something I'm wanting to pursue, if that makes sense. Cause I remember my first video that kind of made me go, oh wait, okay, maybe I should do more. It's like, I'm wondering if we could ever pop that video up on YouTube or, or on our thing, but what is it?
I've always been like very competitive in the things I do. So was competitive in like music and piano and band and.
Oh, dude, you're amazing on the piano too. Like, if you guys don't follow
I suck
stories,
at it now, thanks, though.
I know. I mean, it's still very creative
that.
and passionate. Yeah. Like, not a lot of people can just do it. So
yeah.
But yeah, continue. Sorry.
But and then also competitive in the sports that I was playing, and I was doing tennis for most of high school. So, however, whenever I had a passion for something like music or sports, my parents would immediately shut me down and be like, you're wasting your time. Like, they would want me to do this and pursue it, and because it would be good for the resume. But then when I was like, this is what I want to do, they'd be like, you're not even close to good enough. You're wasting your time. You're not going to go to Juilliard. You're not going to be a pro tennis player. Just fucking focus on doing math and science and trying to be an engineer or a doctor, because you're wasting your time. And every time they told me that, I would I just feel like shit. Honestly, I just feel like absolute dog shit. So I think at one point I just had so much anger at the world that I decided like I'm just gonna become bigger and more jacked than anyone can imagine. And I was just like, I'm gonna put my all into this.
True Saiyan mentality right there, actually.
That's how it happens, though. It's like when you go through those feelings, when you go through that, you know, those trials and tribulations, it pushes you to go beyond like what's normal, you know, no matter what. It's like when you can't be successful unless you fail because you don't know what it's like to fail.
Yeah.
And then
I think failure is a powerful
and so what you learn
part
from
of
it.
moving forward. So yeah, just in college, I kept doing it, kept lifting. People would recognize it, but I think I was doing it for so long that I felt like it was kind of my thing. And at one point, like, you know, when you're in college, there's like this very big hierarchy of, I guess, like status and stuff. It's still like fucking high school and shit, but now you're in college. Now people are in fraternities and sororities, and it's still so competitive, you know. Everyone's competitive in academics, everyone's competitive in sports. People are competitive just even in freaking like social groups.
Drinking games.
And drinking games. And I wanted to excel at my thing. So I just continued to push hard and lift and everything. And I decided like I wanted to make something of myself. And I still wanted to continue competing. But since there's no sport for me to compete in and my passion is bodybuilding, what other way can I do that by competing other than competing in bodybuilding? Like, why not just actually make bodybuilding my sport? So I realized also, because I like gained 40 pounds freshman year, got a girlfriend, drank like a bunch of alcohol in my fraternity freshman year, and then also I would like shuttle dining court cookies because you know, like you could eat unlimited food at the dining courts, right? Every swipe.
my God.
So like I had like these 5-pound jars of like Optimum Nutrition whey protein, and every time I'd finish the jars, I'd pack the jar in my backpack, bring it to the dining court, sit it down on the floor, get a giant ass plate of cookies, and when no one's watching, just slide that shit down the jar.
Bro.
That's actually what.
It was mad bulking season, so
That's smart.
I gained like 40 pounds, and then after that, I realized, honestly, I don't think I'm doing things that are conducive for my health or my bodybuilding journey. Like, I need to crack down on myself. So I decided to spend all the remaining money I had left in college. Obviously, I had no money, and I wasn't working because I didn't have time because I was studying to be an engineer too. So
At Purdue, mind you.
I spent the remainder of my money on like a competition, on the fees, on transportation, whatever else, and realized like if I don't lose this weight, I'm gonna make a fool of myself on stage, and I'm gonna waste all the money that I had. So now I have to keep myself accountable. And then during that process, I decided to like post pictures of my physique updates on my Instagram, just because like not many people. Instagram was a thing, but like I think
There was no influencing yet.
The only things going on really in the fitness industry in like 2013 and stuff like that was like YouTube and then some Instagram pictures.
Yeah.
But like there wasn't really like much else. So I just posted like my Instagram photos of my physique and shit, and it just kept going from there. And then I had this one picture of me like standing very like aesthetic fuckboy model-y.
Yeah.
With just like a standing pose or something. Posted that when I had a physique that looked really, really good. And I think, I don't know what happened, but it just like hit the explore page.
Yeah.
And it was after like a year or 2 years of posting. And then I got like 10,000 followers. I finally had a K in my like Instagram. I was like, holy shit, this is fucking sick.
This is awesome.
That's
You just
That's
went
crazy to think about.
Yeah.
That's
I was gonna say that's crazy to think about, considering where you are now, like where that start was, and then like how far that's come now. Because not only have you competed multiple times, but like, dude, homie has over 1 million followers on one platform. So like,
Thanks, bro.
yeah, so that's still wild. That's no like small feat, especially coming from like, well, you are gonna start making content, but like we're still grinding, right? And like trying to hit that benchmark. So that's wild to think that like it's kind of cool to see that like you had a passion that came from just trying to prove something to yourself, you know, and then that turned into a full blown career,
Right.
you know.
Well, I feel like we always all make moves in the direction of where we want to go. And I think just the one thing that like, I'm nothing special, but I think when hope is lost, then the journey is finished. Like when hope is lost, the journey's done.
Absolutely.
And I see that happening a lot in the fitness industry because people are starting to try to call people out for like steroid use and shit, and like trying to tell kids like, don't even look up to this guy, don't even look at him or anything because he's not attainable. Like you're just gonna get your hopes down or whatever. But like what that does, in my opinion, is like that makes people feel like, what's even the point of me working out? What's even the point of me eating right if I'm never gonna get a look like the guy I want to?
Yeah, it takes away
And I
from
think that's
the
kind of
bigger
ridiculous.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more about honesty. So it's like, I don't like seeing the influencers or content creators. Like I do see some YouTube videos of people like bashing people who take it and say, "Oh, you shouldn't follow," and it's like, well, that shouldn't be the people that you know should frown upon. It's the people that maybe promote it in a very negative way, you know, necessarily. It's like if this is your livelihood, whether you're competing in the IFBB pro leagues and stuff, like, you know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't been in that industry in a while, but like 99% of chance, like if you're going to be an IFBB pro, you probably have to be enhanced.
Yeah.
Correct. Like 99.
Unless you're like a bikini athlete, like a women's bikini.
Yeah, I'm saying,
competitor,
speaking
then,
more
yeah,
so on men's side, like, you know, you most likely have to be enhanced. And it's like, that becomes a lifestyle. And like, I'm sure there are proper ways and proper dosages of taking, you know, enhancements in like a way that's not going to actually harm you as much. So I feel like there is studies and stuff like that they should follow. But yeah, I just don't really, like you said, I don't really appreciate seeing content creators like trying to one up or really bash other people for, you know, it's a lifestyle. This is what you do. If you're a pro, like you have to do what you have to do, you know.
I also think it's like kind of shitty to like make your content revolve around putting someone else down. There's like one thing about like holding people accountable, but like there's some people that just like they make it their mission to put people down for like that one purpose. And I'm just like, there's got to be a bigger purpose to your life, bro. Like,
Yeah.
And then like on top of
KO.
that, because I think you brought up, huh?
JK.
I love how we bumped
Love
into we bumped into we could take this out, but like we bumped into
We
him
don't
at
have
the event and we're just like, oh shit, put our head down and walk past. And I'm like, what? And I look at him like, oh yeah, for you, not for me.
Well, he would never. I don't think he would ever confront me because I'm open about everything.
Yeah.
That's
But,
true.
Like
He couldn't get
I
content
just
out
like,
of you.
I don't know. I just personally like. I just don't really like what he does.
No.
I just feel like it's very. I just feel like it's kind of negative.
Question.
Isn't it? Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
That's
one
all.
question though. What do you think of the creator? And I know this might be, if it's good or bad, kind of like you have an opinion on Kenny Akeo. What is your opinion on the creator that always asks like, how tall are you and how much do you weigh? And then can I like, and he brings out a scale. So if he was to come up to you and go,
Oh, to
hey,
check you?
I forget his name, but he goes, how tall are you? And then let's say you're like, oh, I'm like 198. And he whips out a scale, like, can you step on it?
Shit!
Like, maybe I don't know because I'm not in the field, but
Yeah.
like, I don't see what's wrong if you're not lying about your height or weight. Like, what's like the negative? Like, I don't understand. Like, what's wrong with someone putting a scale out? If someone was to say, hey, how much do I weigh? I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
like 183. And I step on it. I shouldn't lie about my weight, right?
Right.
So, like, what do
Yeah.
you think of that content creator? That because like that's another side of like a flip side of what Kenny KO kind of does, right?
I mean, obviously it's funny.
I think it's hilarious.
Obviously it's
But
funny.
like some guys get pressed, like they will not
Yeah.
step on that scale and they like call him out.
Fuck you.
They're like, you're such a negative person. I'm like, I don't see the issue.
Like, I'm just saying things because we're on a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to psychoanalyze anyone
Yeah.
because it really doesn't matter. But I mean, I would assume that if someone gets that angry or that mad, maybe they're trying to hide something. But on the other hand of it, I can see how, like, basically what he's doing, even though it's not really that bad, he's just doing confrontation for the sake of views.
Yeah.
So I can see how that also hurts people.
Gotcha. So it's just
Like,
confrontation.
Do you really want to like cause confrontation just for the sake of you getting views off of someone else's
Yeah.
res-
At someone else's
reputation?
expense, really. Yeah.
Someone else's expense.
I'd,
It's not very good energy, I guess.
No, yeah, definitely not.
I mean,
actually,
it's not like that old dude who fucking does this and like shoulder bumps everyone. That guy,
wanna know
I
if
cannot
that's
believe that
scripted
guy
or
is
not. Like, dude,
that
'cause
guy
some of it
cannot
looks
be
legit.
That guy has to be dead by now.
That shit's.
That's so funny, but so bad.
I mean, the guy's he stages all of it.
Oh, he's taking.
I was
dude.
with Eric Janicki and he
man.
was doing one of the videos and they pretend to have a kid with like crutches or like something.
Yeah.
And then they pretended to knock off the kid with crutches.
Oh my god.
But
Oh
like
my
he
God.
like, you know. he
I was gonna
acted
say, how
for it.
does that man not?
No, because some of it looks real. I'm like, dude, how do you not get popped right there?
yeah.
It's the old guy. That's why.
Yeah, well, dude, I don't know. Sometimes, oh fuck,
That's
Yeah.
good content though. That's hilarious.
that's some damn good clickbait too.
I wish I had balls to do that.
Very value content.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
But
Actually,
sorry. Yeah.
I had a question because it was kind of revolving back to what we were talking about earlier, right? Like, I feel like this is also when I was growing up like a little kid and I knew nothing about like muscle enhancement or any of that stuff. I feel like everyone kind of has this misconception where that like if you do any type of what is the best way to put it? Like performance enhancing drugs, like PEDs. Like, is that the best, like, correct way to determine?
Yeah, PEDs.
Yeah,
or
like,
even
if
just
you
straight up
Yeah,
steroids,
I feel like there's a
Are you juicing?
juicing.
I feel like there's
gear.
like a misconception where like the moment you hop on anything, you're just gonna get massive or you're gonna get super shredded.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But then like,
Oh, for sure. He's like, trust me, you will.
is that? But I've also heard like 90% of guys that hop on do not look like they actually like.
Yeah.
Even, like once you hop on, you still have to fucking grind to make your
Yeah.
body look a certain way.
So, I think a lot of people don't talk about this a lot, and maybe I would actually be interested to hear if anyone has anything to say against this. But when you do hop on something, depending on what it is, you can't get fucking huge. You can fucking look sick as fuck for like several weeks. But a lot of this is purely cosmetic. You jump on like Trend, for example. And what it does is there's a lot of functions that help you increase protein synthesis. And obviously you're going to get stronger, bigger. It'll help you build more muscle. But during the process, during the time that you're on it, say it's like an 8-week cycle of Trend Ace, like your muscles are going to fill with glycogen and it's going to have more water. You're going to have less water subcutaneously, which means less water in like your fat below your skin, more water under your muscles. So what is that going to do? It's going to make you look fucking yoked, dude. It's going to make you look like it's like your muscles are ripping through your skin if you're lean already, right? But then when you come off of it, then when you come off of Trend, you're going to go way back to normal. And if you account for, say, someone who's just completely coming off and then they PCT, you could end up coming out to a worse state because your natural testosterone could actually be worse than before, which is why normally it's like if you pin once, you should probably at least think of it potentially being a lifelong thing that you have to pin.
I think that's
so.
I like that you say that because I feel like most people are just like, oh, I'm just going to get big, look good. And then like after I gain the mass, I'm just going to stop. When it's like,
Right.
there are actual effects. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like usually there are some pretty long lasting, like, I don't want to say side effects, but like shit's going to happen to your body.
Yeah.
And it's not something to just take lightly and be like, I'm just going to get big and then chill. Right.
Lifelong commitment.
I'd say like whenever like Gen Pop thinks about like steroids, they probably think of like the outcome of someone taking like a lot of Mastron or a lot of Trend, where you look cosmetically crazy. But I think where anabolic steroids and PEDs can actually come in handy is if you're taking it slowly over a long process of you actually bulking, for example, or actually focusing on gaining muscle mass. Then it's actually going to contribute to your protein synthesis, but it's kind of more in a way of like an extremely strong supplement, if that makes sense. Now, if you don't have any building blocks to fuel the little men that your steroids are, like say that you're building a skyscraper, and the men are the ones that are obviously building it, right? Your construction workers. If you add in gear, that's like making the men stronger. That's like having more men to build it. But if you have none of the building blocks, if you don't have any of the things to supply the muscle, you're not going to build shit. Which is like why, like, say that like someone jumps on gear for 10 years or something, but he never eats what he should. He's probably going to look the same, except maybe even worse because his hair might be dying and his organs might be depreciating, which will cause the rest of his outer features to actually look worse. Could it get acne? A lot of other issues that are actually more serious with his internal organs. But obviously what's inside reflects what's outside will obviously reflect your health inside as well. So you would probably end up looking worse.
I
I've
definitely
never heard
don't.
it
If you didn't do it
broken down
right.
like that. That's actually like
Yeah, it was really good.
I
makes
def-
way more sense because like
I
it's not
don't
just-
want to take Trend anymore.
Wait, I have a question because like this is like your bread and butter as far as like bodybuilding and like knowing the intricacies of these different things. What is it about, like, why is it that you lose the mass that you gain so quickly? Like, cause in my
Like after a cycle?
yeah, I know I might sound super ignorant because I'm like because
Yeah.
this is not my world. I don't know that much about it.
He's lying.
I feel like in my head it's like if you built that muscle, like how does it just disappear?
It doesn't disappear. What you're seeing is a cosmetic effect go away.
Is it the water weight?
Yeah. Of course, you probably, if you ate enough food and calories, then you probably built some decent muscle while you were on it, maybe. But the thing that people see go away is normally like the cosmetic effect that they see happen when they're on gear, or if they lost muscle. Maybe they just didn't PCT right. Maybe they didn't jump on TRT afterwards to maintain the muscle mass. If that makes sense, there's like a lot of different factors.
Yeah.
But that's why like bodybuilding is such a thing, is because some people think like, oh, you just jump on gear and you get huge, or oh, you just do something else like eat enough food and you get huge. But you have to check off every box if you want to be optimal about it.
Yeah, I just heard a bunch of letters, and I want to get on soon. Just kidding.
Hanging out with the young LA guys.
No.
You'll really
If I would have
be.
done it, I would have done it by now, honestly. But
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There are times where, dude.
it's just like too
It's
late.
not conducive for you.
It's not gonna do
There's
anything.
literally no point.
No.
Well,
There's nothing. For
you're
me
about
right
to
now.
compete soon.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Oh yeah, I'm
How has the fucking prep been?
It's not bad. It's a lot better than my last few than before so far. But obviously, I'm 9.5 weeks out, so
It's gonna
that's-
get worse.
yeah, it's getting worse.
Oh, okay.
Like today, I was pretty starving, to be honest. But
At what point is it like a flip of a switch as far as like this fucking sucks?
just the closer you get to the show, the leaner you get, the more tired you get. Your body has less stores of energy. Plus, your body recognizes how much weight you lose. So if you were losing 2 pounds a week, it recognizes that versus if you lost 1 pound a week. So if you've lost 2 pounds a week over the course of like a couple months or something, you're probably going to feel different. You're probably going to feel more hungry. You're probably going to feel like you need a fucking break way more than if you lost 1 pound a week. So just as you get closer to the competition, it just gets harder and harder and harder until finally like 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, 1 week out.
And you're like legit starving,
Eat
right?
minimal, yeah. If in order for you to get to like reach around 4% body fat, if that's your goal for the stage, you basically have to starve, kind of, but eat enough protein.
Is that the goal for this prep to get to that?
It's the goal for every prep.
Yeah.
Every competition, you want to be that lean.
How excited are you to get back on stage? Because it's been a while. Or
I'm
is
pretty,
it more like
I'm pretty
no?
stoked,
Pretty stoked.
but I'm not excited to starve.
I know that pain because when I used to do it, like I was actually like I'm like terrible. Like when I'm prepping,
Yeah.
like I remember my parents and my ex-girlfriend being like, "You are just not fun." Because if you guys know me, like I lock in on things when I'm focusing. So imagine if I'm trying to take bodybuilding serious, I'm probably a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I guess like that's what you're not excited about. It's just like feeling that starvation again.
No, I'm not excited about it at all. But to be honest, since I moved to LA and how many people I've met, honestly, even Lexi, for example, like all these people are like doing competitions and doing bodybuilding too. And like Shizzy's prepping for a competition right now too.
Oh, he was looking lean.
Yeah, he's looking lean.
He's looking lean.
He's 6 weeks out. So it's like, it makes it easier because I'm like, wow,
You're
I gotta suffer with everybody. You know, I
Yeah.
gotta suffer with all my homies. It's not so bad anymore.
Not
Does
me.
help a little bit.
I did a mini cut. Oh my gosh, I was so tired all the time.
But he looked great.
You look lean though, bro.
You look great.
Good. I just did that for like, I don't even know. It was like after the breakup, and then it was about like 1 or 2 months. But I just cut back so many carbs. I was losing
This
my
man got
my
sexy
mind.
after a breakup. This guy got just lean as fuck, 8-pack. Now that he's over it, he just went back to just eating.
Yeah. No, after my birthday month, it's all been back to shit. So I need to get back on it. But I noticed like my head space completely changed. I was so irritable and so tired all the time, and I just like couldn't focus.
Yeah,
So that was like
Yeah.
the biggest thing for me because I work from home
Okay.
and like I couldn't focus. I was like, God, this is
You couldn't
tough.
focus like the whole time or like at the end?
And the beginning was easy, like 1 or 2. I didn't do it any close to what you're doing. I was just watching like what I ate, like carb wise, and
Yeah.
kept proteins the same. But towards like the second month, that's when it really started. Like my mouth started salivating midday, and like
It was just hard because you had like cravings. You
cravings.
could only think about food.
and also energy levels were down.
Okay,
just
yeah.
irritable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The irritability is the part that
That's
gets
the
me.
word.
That's the part that's hard.
I'm just gonna switch it up really quick because I'm so fucking sick of just talking about bodybuilding and
Yeah.
all this science bullshit. Like, let's talk about what we actually do and we have fun, bro. Like, we love fucking going to festivals and events, man. Like, I want to
That-
talk
that-
about something fun, bro.
that's what-
Like, this is
that
where
was
we
what we-
relate. This is where we relate. Like,
hey, me and Saint were chopping up before. Like, what do you want to talk about?
this guy is so sciencey. Like, I don't give. I'm about to fall asleep off kratom. So I
like,
want
the
to talk
whole-
about what. Yeah,
the
let's
whole
go.
world knows about Nile, but they don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
We're going to Odessa tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. This guy is one of the funnest, like craziest people. I love fucking going to events with him every time. I made him go. I know he didn't want to go, but I somehow
I will say
was able to
Nayga's
convince
like
him to go.
beast mode when he goes to a festival, dude.
He does.
Like, I remember the first EDC that I ever met you at. I was like, oh shit, there are like. I thought I went hard. I was like, oh, dude, there is some energy in this man.
It's good cardio.
That's where this man takes out all his like that anger or whatever he has. He's just out there having a great time. You're always having a blast every time we go out, man. I feel like you really enjoy like going to events. Like, what is like what makes you enjoy the festivals that we go to outside of the music? Like, what makes
homies.
you have so much fun? Yeah,
Literally just the homies. I've had friends like Melody who talk about, well, back then when she actually used to go to events, how they could like go to an event solo or like travel the world solo, and it seems cool. But to be honest, I think the most important things to me are my homies, my family. So honestly, the reason I'm going to Desert tomorrow is because I fucking found out all you guys are going. I'm like, I can't fucking miss that shit.
dude, I love it, man. Because like my dream, I think it's more because me and Chris are talking about it more, but I think something I really want to do, especially if when we all become successful in our own way, the way that we'd like to accomplish here, I'd love to be able to like travel the world with my homies.
Yeah.
Like, let's go to fucking Thailand and just live there for a month and a half and just like fucking live it up.
Apparently in Bali, there's like a collective of guys where like, I don't know if it's this like specific area, but like, no, it's this area in Bali where it's basically for men to come find themselves and like to be surrounded by other men that are also trying to succeed. And apparently there's like no chicks allowed in that
I don't
area.
want to be there.
I've heard about that already, but it's
Yeah, what do you think of that?
Do you want to be there? I don't want to be there.
You don't want to be there?
No, I want to be with my
That's so out
boys.
of
I don't want to meet other
No,
boys.
you
I
would
want
be
to be
with your
boys with
boys.
me. I know, but I want to be with my boys. I don't want to meet some random boys like over there and be like, hey, let's all be boys.
I think it would be interesting, to be honest.
No,
I
man,
think
I'm trying to be with my boys to meet girls.
yeah, but I
To
think,
meet girls. This is out of character.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. It's a kratom.
no, I think that would be dope if you go there for one reason. If you're trying to do something that you need to get away from like reality.
Yeah, if you're trying
you know?
to like find yourself and
Kinda
like
like-
progress, I do think that's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, but that's not what I would go for.
Yeah, no, I imagine not.
No, I just want to go do things with friends, right?
What would you want to do?
Like, because I loved and like getting into the culture. So it's like, you know, when you travel with like friends or family, you kind of just go to like the popular things, but you never really get to like embrace yourself in the culture. So I feel like you never get to do that. So if you could do that with the boys in another country, I think that would be so much fun.
Wait, Benji said Thailand.
Hell yeah.
Why Thailand specifically?
One,
Or is there a specific reason?
no, because one, I haven't been there in a long time and it's a great time. Two, I love Thai food. Three, it's like a very fun party country with so many things to do. And then most importantly, it's cheap.
Yeah.
Like how cheap?
Like stupid. You want like full bottle service, like say like Las Vegas style, like looking like kings. It's like $100.
Yeah.
Like as a like royalty, like you are at the best. And then if you want like the best
have my
Airbnb,
attention.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The best Airbnb of like with like the ocean view and all that stuff, like maybe 8 rooms. It's like $200 a month.
Damn, we should go
A month?
Yeah,
next
it's like
month.
that. It's that cheap.
Yeah. We
You get pad Thai for 50 cents, bro. Like homemade pad
$200
Thai.
a month is
Yeah, bro.
crazy.
And then at EDC, I met Ryan Chong's friend's girlfriend, but she's from Thailand, and she invited us because she does real estate in Thailand. And she said, if you need a penthouse suite or anything, just let her know. And I was like, bro, we got to get a penthouse suite with the boys and like just live there.
Yeah, but Saint wants to go to Bali to meet more boys.
No, I was just asking if you heard about what was going on over there. I think it just like popped up on my feed the other day.
You know, I
I
just
was like,
fucking
what
with
the
you, dude. I just fucking
If you had your dream boys trip, what countries would you pop around?
Dream boys trip.
I would say an Asian country for sure. I've never traveled to that many or haven't traveled to very many, so I wouldn't know. But all of them seem like beautiful in their own way, from my experience.
I feel like you have one.
Japan.
Really?
Korea.
I think it's too city.
Yeah, I've been.
It's too
But I
city-ish
was
for
like
me.
12.
I think Japan would be dope. I think Korea is way too, and I'm Korean, so like I could say this shit, but I feel like it's just way too stereotypical and way too judgy. They really care about your appearance and like, it's just like a New York, you know, or LA. It's just another city vibe.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
they flat out won't let you in if they don't think you're attractive to a club.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yo,
certain,
no,
certain
seriously.
clubs in Korea.
I
I don't even know how they judge it.
I'm
here
just
for
I'm
the
just
foreign
surprised because I was there for like 3 months. I was taking Korea classes at Korea University.
Well, you're also a
And, like,
good-looking
they went
dude.
to- huh?
You're also a good-looking dude, so
I just they turn people away.
Dude,
Yeah, I don't
they
think
turn people
I don't
away
think
if you're
you
not
face
even
any of
Asian.
those issues, bro. Like,
Actually, you'd get turned away in Japan a lot because you're tattoos.
I would.
You can't go to
Yeah.
certain gyms because you're.
I can't go to
tattooed.
gyms.
Yeah, you can't go to gyms there, which
Yeah,
is crazy.
I gotta find some super hardcore one or go into turtleneck.
You have to go to the
Dude,
Yakuza gym.
wait, it's just like if you
Listen,
have tattoos, like that's
Dude,
it.
Thailand or Vietnam, we're going.
yeah, I'd be down for one of those.
Thailand and Bali sound awesome.
Thailand's awesome,
Sounds sick.
and we can basically be broke and still live like kings.
That's what I'm saying. I want to go to third world, but like not third world.
Like, let's
you
go to
know?
Mongolia. I'm actually.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good out there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can hook it all up.
I'm down.
And it's cheap. Like a bottle service is
Now you
probably
down?
like $200-300
You down?
bucks.
Yeah, you know I'm done.
After the competition.
Because I feel like everything we do, we can do from not local, right? I think maybe not you.
I'm basically unemployed. I just go.
No, that's why I thought about
Not
that.
unemployed
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, not anymore.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm doing stuff like him, except on a smaller scale.
hmm
I'm like little Nile.
So you can do it abroad.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm like little Nile. I'm just that's it.
the fuck?
With no tattoos. So that's all. I have veins though.
Next year.
Boys trip end of summer. But other than that, I'm just trying to figure out how all this. Man, I had a thought in my head that I want to say. I'm sorry. I figure something.
Wait, now what made you come from San Diego to LA, and who really introduced you to everyone? Because I remember that transition period, but I don't really know the story. I know
Yeah.
talked briefly to you about it, but
That carries on to what I wanted to say, so it works out.
San Diego is a really beautiful place, and honestly, it's still, even to this day, even though not all my friends are there anymore, it still feels like home just because of the energy and how welcoming and how much it changed me and my perspective. Because I had a pretty negative perspective growing up because of the childhood I had, and everyone there was so positive and so open-minded that it just completely changed it, honestly. But it's also kind of sleepy. I think that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's happy, everyone's chill, everyone's just trying to have fun, but they're not really like grinding hard and working really hard. Exactly. It's more of a place to be
Beachy.
present
Beachy.
with fam. So I just, I really always wanted to have a podcast for a majority of my life. And I wanted to grow in my career, and I wanted to do something substantial. And also, the fact of the matter is social media is a scary place to be, because you can blow up one day, and then like 3 years later you're old, and suddenly
Yeah.
all the people that followed you are maybe too old to go on Instagram again or whatever, and now you actually have no audience, and now you have no money. So it's like you really have to plan ahead a lot, I guess, in this industry. And so I'm just like, well, I want to make sure that I can have a family that I can provide everything for. So I need to make sure that I grind and fucking work to make that happen. So I moved to LA to try to make that happen and create my podcast where it'd be easier to do those things, and it's been fucking worth it.
awesome.
Glad you
And
did,
then-
because that's how we met. Kind of like I
Yeah.
didn't think I'd meet you.
Yeah.
I bumped into you at
That was
at
crazy.
Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
Bumped into you through Rebecca just randomly one time.
Mhm.
I think you worked out, and then out of nowhere, never expected to talk to you again, because like it was a simple like I literally remember what you were doing. You're just like doing some mobility before legs. I was, oh hey, nice to meet you. Like what's
Mhm.
up? And like left it there. And then I think the very following week we had a mutual friend's birthday party
Right.
on a boat, and we hit it off right out there.
Joey's?
No,
Was it Joey's?
Johnny's.
Oh, it was Johnny's.
Yeah,
Johnny's boat.
Johnny's boat, and yeah, we just hit it off right there.
Yeah. I think you guys feel the same way though, but just like, the energy that you put
Yeah.
out, like you attract. So like if you just kind of attract like-minded people,
Yeah.
So I didn't think I was ever going to freaking have suddenly a
Bunch
group
of
of 100 Asian friends.
I know.
Me neither.
I've never had Asian
You were only
friends.
hanging out with non-Asian.
But to be honest, another one of the reasons is like I moved to California excited to like see some diversity and be more part of, like be more ingrained into my culture, right?
Yeah.
Because I was literally like
Yeah.
Texas, Arkansas, then Purdue and Indiana.
normal, yeah.
Indiana.
Same.
So I moved to San Diego, and then it turned out for UCSD, and then it turned out everybody was white, so all
Yeah,
my friends were
everyone's
still white. So then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should move to LA and try to meet some Asian.
We got
friends.
more than just a few Asian friends.
Yeah.
I got the same thing, bro. I grew up in Michigan and like came here. I'm like, I did not understand. Like even at that boat party, I remember like I was so uncomfortable
Mhm.
because I'm like everyone kind of looks like me, and I'm like this is just fucking weird. I could not comprehend being there. It took me a while to
Yeah.
get used to everyone.
I just remember when I first met Nyle, I was at a club, and I was like wasted, like fucking wasted.
Was
And
that Academy?
Yeah, so I was
Yeah, that was
fucking
fun.
fanboying, and I woke up the next morning like, bro, I was fucking like fanboying on that Nyle guy. I was like, dude, I felt so stupid. I was like, oh my god, Nyle.
What was this? Did
I
you
was
meet him
wasted.
before me?
No, yeah, I think so. He just came around. That's why I was wondering like how he came how he came around like that night. But I remember meeting him for the first time at Academy. But
Honestly, bro, I literally just remember meeting a class dude. I literally don't remember
Appreciate it.
anything weird whatsoever.
Cool.
Honestly.
Because it's like whenever I introduce people to like or introduce myself to people that I don't know and like someone I look up to, then it's like I just let my inner child come out like, oh my god,
Yeah.
wow, what's up? But then I woke up the next day, I was like, damn, I was kind of annoying.
First thing,
You weren't at all.
First thing
That
this
was
dude
dope.
goes like, "You work out." That's how he started conversation with me.
yeah.
I was like,
But imagine that times like 10 with Nyle.
Yeah.
'Cause I knew him.
I just wore like a bucket hat. And I was just chilling. I was like in a bad mood that day when we met.
Why are you in a bad mood?
You know me, bro. I just had my fucking episodes, and it was just like a day I had a bucket hat on. Where you know, if I have a bucket hat on, you know, probably I don't want to talk. And he like came up to me all cheery, golden retriever energy, like, "Oh man, you work out too."
God damn it, I can't be a dick.
And I'm like, "Yeah, hey, what's up, dude?"
And then he's like, "Yo,
Nah, he
let's work
smiled
out
at me. He
sometimes."
smiled at me. He gave me that Benji smile.
Well, he's a good looking dude too. Probably got a
Oh,
little-
speaking of what is your? Well, obviously we know.
Yeah.
But like, what's your podcast called?
Transparent.
What inspired you to start a? Because you didn't have to by any means. Like, you were already well established with your different platforms. Like, what inspired you to go down the podcast route?
Kind of like how I said earlier, I've always wanted to start a podcast because I've listened to podcasts most of my life. Like, been a big fan of Aubrey Marcus, Modern Wisdom, Chris Williamson. Obviously, Joe Rogan. Everyone loves Joe Rogan.
Fucking love Chris Williams.
Just a host of others like Jay Shetty. What else? There's so many, you know.
Andrew
Andrew
Huberman.
Huberman, of course. But
You
all these
sent me a lot of
podcasts,
Andrew clips.
all these podcasts, I think I feel like I've gotten the brunt of my knowledge from, to be honest, in the past like 5 years or so. Just because since I've been out of school, which I learned nothing from, I literally like haven't had time to, I guess, unless I'm doing research because I'm interested in the subject.
Yeah.
Like I'm always doing something, so it's easier for me to just put on something like an audiobook or a podcast.
Yeah.
And because of that, honestly, it just built up so much in me, and like a lot of my lifestyle and how I live and my perspectives have been derived from listening to this podcast, especially Aubrey Marcus, that I was just like, I just have to start my own. Like how much they impacted me. There's nobody I would want to meet more in life, like no fitness person, bodybuilder, whatever, more than like a podcaster like Aubrey, to be honest.
I admire you guys because
I cannot listen to an audiobook to save my life, so I never got into podcasts because I can't. I'll watch it if it's YouTube clips or like maybe a whole YouTube episode I'm interested in. I can probably sit down and listen to it.
Yeah.
But people who are like, oh, just listen to it when you're like cleaning or like maybe at the gym or driving, like I physically can't. So like I admire that I wish I could learn that way
Yeah.
like you
I
guys.
love
'cause-
podcasts.
Yeah, you guys
There's
all
so
love
much value
podcasts.
that like a podcast brings. Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I didn't learn that until I met you
yeah,
guys.
like dude, podcasts can like will literally change your life. Like one day, like you will just hear something from the podcast and it'll just click in your head, or like you'll remember it, and then later on, it'll click. Like whatever you were like, damn, I wish I could do that, or something like that. Like later on, it'll just click, and it'll completely like exponentially increase your progress forward to whatever it is that like whatever the person that you're trying to become. Like, there's so much value that a podcast can bring.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so
I also think it's interesting because like most people, I think when they see you, like if they were to look at your page, like they wouldn't assume you'd be the like type that's like very in tune with your emotions, very knowledgeable, like very like you like to learn. People wouldn't. I don't think people expect the kind of person you are from what you look like. I'm not trying to like bash what you look like, but I think you get what I'm saying. But
I feel like
and
that's
your-
I
and
feel
your
like that's a
content.
compliment.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
your,
yeah,
and your
like, you get
content.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's not how I envisioned you, like from social media and like,
Uh-huh.
all that stuff. But you're like very deep thinker, intellectual. Like
Thanks, bro.
no, like it's that's
Thanks, man.
yeah, he's smart as shit.
that's what I'm saying.
think-
like,
Oh yeah.
just describing
was
the-
it Purdue bio. Oh, fuck.
just a little man analogy that was like I
Trying
understand.
to remember the exact degree.
It was just mechanical engineering at Purdue.
Mechanical engineering.
Yeah, it was UCSD where I was going for grad school. That was biomechanical engineering that I dropped out of before starting.
Do you feel like it was a complete waste? Like 1,000%.
Yep.
Damn. I was gonna ask, like, is there anything that you took from it that you're like, oh, you know what? Like, at least I learned.
Wait, you have a master's?
It was fun, huh?
You have a master's?
No, I was like a week from doing my master's. I was enrolled in everything at UCSD.
He said, "Fuck
and then a
that."
week before, I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck that. Damn. I'm not going to pay for the next 2
Bro,
years to
yeah.
be depressed.
And now look where you're at.
It just took a year of being absolutely broke, but it was
Mm-hmm.
worth it for sure.
Yeah, I think that speaks to a lot of people out there probably going through that same situation, because a lot of people graduating right now, and they're probably debating, should I go to college or should I not go to college? You know,
Yeah. Well,
we're in that season.
I mean, I don't feel like I have much place to say there because I went to college and got myself a backup. So at least in my mind, in the back of my head, I'm like, if all of this goes to shit, maybe I can go back to something related to engineering. Even though I have no experience in the field, I still have a degree.
What would you tell somebody that might be in your situation that's thinking about going to college or wants to do a different route or might be going in their master's and want to do a different route? Like, what advice would you give them? Yeah, like just an honest opinion, I guess, because I know advice is
Yeah.
kind of harsh to say.
So I think I've heard a lot of people give like a lot of like very motivating like speeches on this and things, and I think they
Yeah.
are they're effective and they're amazing. But I've also heard another guy in the bodybuilding industry say something to me that was like actually very powerful and real, and I think it can relate to this. And basically he said he was talking about bodybuilders, guys who have died in their 40s, 50s, trying to compete for Mr. Olympia, but nobody ever knows because they got 10th plus place, but they continue to take steroids and then they die. And basically he's saying that these people have to have some kind of logical, non-delusional thinking, that you are putting in drugs into your body that are slowly destroying your internal organs for a goal that might not exist. So I think in this way, I think it depends per person. I think you should really look at like what your future could potentially look like. If like being in a degree is going to get you some like reasonable amount of success and stability that's really, really powerful for the rest of your life, I don't think that should be totally thrown away. But just like me, there's the option of like I did, while I just double down on the grind and try to like post stuff on Instagram or post my journey in bodybuilding while I'm studying and doing school. And to be honest with you, man, like if you're doing anything and you're posting anything at all, it's going to contribute to your future. Anything.
Yeah.
As long as you're, I guess being wise about what you're putting out there. But every single thing that I posted, obviously throughout college, even though I was focusing on my engineering degree, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here.
yeah.
So
I think a lot of people say college is not worth it anymore, but from my personal experience, I truly believe that college has a lot of secondary impacts that people don't realize or give credit to enough. Is that you're 18, what is it, 18 years old when you graduate like high school, right?
yeah.
You're still learning and growing, and like what you don't know at that time in your life is like the social inner workings of relationships, and you're still finding yourself. And I feel like that's kind of the same situation what you just mentioned, that through that school process you did find yourself in that as well.
Yeah.
For that creative journey.
Everybody can find value from any route of experience or any route that they take.
100%.
I do think there was a lot of value for me to actually just be in a college space where I joined a fraternity, met a bunch of people, met people in the gym there. I think it was like very, very, very constructive for my future. But I also think like, say that like you're Mr. Beast or something and you have the potential to make something fucking phenomenal in high school before the age of
100%.
before college, and it's already going in that direction, then send that direction, you know?
I guess it just really depends on how the cards are dealt with you and what position you take. But after hearing this, I think college is definitely
the point is
such an
not to go to
important-
college for money.
Well, college is important, I think, because like I think you just learn a lot of roots of like what life is gonna be like with when it comes to friends and relationships, and like going to different classes whether you like it or not, and just muscling through. And like sometimes you're cheating in class, or sometimes you get away with these. Like I think you actually learn a lot of it's funny, but like I think you learn a lot of basic things that you should be prepped for. And my only fear is like with content creators now, because I think we talked about prior, is like when you do, and maybe speak on it for me, maybe I'm wrong because I have not had the level of success you've had in the content space, but I feel like especially now, like you can blow up at any age. You could be 12 years old and blow up, right? Like, Justin Bieber became a singer at 14 and blew up. But in content, it's like when you blow up at such a young age, like 18, 19, and then you get all this money and all this attention, I feel like
from that point on, you just lost out on so many normal experiences that could have possibly grounded you or maybe helped you with like communication skills or how to build a friendship, how to build a relationship, because most of their life they're getting built off of like who they are, and everything becomes a business transaction. And I feel like that's the only scary part about content at a young age or blowing up at a young age or pursuing that, because I think sometimes you're missing out on core value lessons. But I mean, I could be wrong. I want to hear your
I
side.
think you're absolutely right. I think all that matters is that everybody always has like an experience that's humbling. Like you always have like a root or like I guess a foundation to go back to where you were humbled. Because if you were like, say you were giving it from the very beginning and you've never experienced that, then you're probably going to have a different perspective than someone that has.
Yeah.
What has been one of the moments that you feel like humbled you? That maybe you, whether or not you were ready for it, like it humbled you, but it has played a huge role in maybe who you've become.
Honestly, a lot, dude.
That's the best.
Honestly, a lot.
Is there any way particular one that kind of like stands out that you're
It's
like,
like a lot of them. A lot
Yeah.
of them, dude.
All I can think about is like feeling like I was bottom, always being called names, always like not even being looked at, not ever being considered as I was a kid. And then growing up and also being told that like whatever I wanted to do, any passions that I wanted to pursue was nothing because I wasn't good enough. Going through college and never being the smartest person because people are freaking geniuses there. So I would always be grinding and hoping to be the best at something, but I could never be. And then even being in bodybuilding, you know, even if I created a content, I'm never going to be the best, and I never am. Like there's always people that are better, and even after I blew up, there's always someone the next generation that blows up even more. And then going down to my competitions, I competed 9 times, you know, and all I wanted was my IFBB pro card. That's all I wanted. That was my dream. And I competed in like maybe 7 of the shows naturally, and I would keep going to nationals, and I would place like 16th plus place. Basically means that you're not even ranked because you are just so far down in the poll. So like constantly I would just not even be ranked, and I was like, this is my biggest dream to get my pro card, and it doesn't even look like it's fucking possible. It looks like I'm literally wasting my time and my money. And so, I mean, to be honest, I don't know if sometimes I even consider those humbling. They almost felt more just like depreciating and kind of like getting my hopes down. But all I can say is that like I said before, I'm nothing special, but I'm just glad that I stuck to it.
I was about to say, what kept
I'm just glad I stuck to it.
What kept you? Why did you stick to it? Because I think there were plenty of people that probably would have quit, like by try number 4, 5, 6, or whatever.
I think I stuck to it because I was just like, I've already been rock bottom for like the whole beginning of my life. There's no more rock bottom I can get, so I might as well try.
Yeah.
Because the only thing else I have left is to literally just like off myself or just, I don't know. There's nothing else. I think there's no other options.
Let's not do that.
I think the only option I had was to try, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's just grit, man. It doesn't even come down to faith. It's like you just know how it feels, and you're, you know, willing to weather through it. I think that's where we relate a lot too. The more I like hear you talk about it, just because like I definitely didn't have as tough a upbringing as you, but I definitely know in my own sense of like when you really want to chase something, and sometimes a lot of our goals seem unachievable, but at that point like you really stick with it because you're like, well, what else do I have going? Because like you just truly believe in it, you know. Like even my goals right now are seriously like a 1 percentile again, but I should be maybe focusing on other things to help me, but it's like I do it because this is all I know, you know. That's just what I want. So if I know I'm following that, like a lot of good came out of it just from me just sticking with it still. Like even my small wins right now with brands and like my friendships I've had with you guys, which I've never had, you know, I never grew up really having a lot of good friends. So, you know, a lot of good things come with just like sticking through it, you know. It's kind of crazy how that all works out.
I think maybe I'm just lucky. I could just be lucky, but I feel like the biggest thing, the biggest surprise that I've found that consistently reoccurs in my life is every time I feel like it's not going to happen, every time I feel like hope is going to be lost, I just stick it through a little bit longer and just a little bit longer, and suddenly
Something,
fucking like a massive blessing. Like I get my pro card.
Yeah.
The friends that I wished I always had,
Yeah.
I end up building a relationship with. It's just things happen. It takes a while. It takes a long time, but it happens. So
Yeah.
I feel like there should always be hope.
That's awesome.
All right, I had a question for you, Nyle. Once I readjust my fucking legs. Okay, so earlier you were talking about like if things go to shit, at least you have that degree to like back you up, right? But the flip side of that, what does it look like for you if you quote unquote make it in your head? What your standard of like making it is? What does that look like? What do you want Nyle to be known for? And
Damn, bro, I don't think there's ever gonna be like a making it. To be honest.
oh no, of
But-
course. But like in other people's eyes, like that's the interesting thing, right? Like in other people's eyes, they're like, he's made it. He's fucking
Yeah,
made it.
that's
Right?
true.
But like your standard of making it, what does that look like? You know? What is the mountain that you're trying to climb?
Well, that's the thing is like I thought I had made it in my eyes when I had grown, like when I had first blown up and like I was getting all these deals and I had this big audience at the time, at least respectively at the time. It felt big and the engagement was there and everything. But then I realized like just a couple years later that nothing lasts forever. Literally nothing. Sorry, that sounded very pessimistic. Some things can. But it's like just because I achieved something, I can't take it for granted. So, and I think that was my mistake that I made, is I kind of took it for granted for a bit. And also I had a lot of other things to deal with, such as Ryan's passing that like ended up taking out a lot of time from my work and my career. And I think that just created like this big pause and hiatus, and then it just completely stopped my growth. And then I just realized like in this kind of journey, it's like I have to continuously keep trying to work for more in order to make sure that I still have enough to sustain my family, and then it doesn't drop off and go away later on. Because unlike a normal job where, yeah, you still have to work very hard, and you could also have layoffs, right? It's I
There's no
think
blueprint.
there's this feeling where it's like, if you do get a job, at least you know that you might have the job the next day and you can continue working at that job that you enjoy. But I think in social media it's a little weird because like you could say one thing and then everyone else decides to not
Yeah, and
follow you or support you anymore. And
Yeah, there's
if you
literally
don't
no
have your own
blueprint.
business, then your money and your living is all based off of other people's opinions of you and whether or not they like you enough to buy your things, I guess. So it's weird. It's a weird industry.
And now just to tap in there really quick, because like I just turned 30, and then in my corporate job, I just got a promotion, all that. I had a goal, I was to make the director level by 30. And then right now what I'm dealing with is actually that, I made my goal, but I'm feeling in that position or mentality of not that hustle mentality I had before. So like that hiatus period, I feel like I'm going through that in the corporate world. So I don't think there's much difference, social media or not. I think it happens even in the corporate world and normal people's lives. I think it's a normal process.
In regards to you losing your audience?
No, like you were going through that process where like you thought you made your goal, and then you went to like a kind of hiatus and kind of like lost motivation to like, go into like that X mode. Right? Isn't that what you're
we might not be
to?
on the same page.
Okay, what were you talking about then?
It wasn't that it's not like the corporate world because you have a hiatus. It's like I lost my audience. I lost a big amount of my audience, just because it happened. And you could relate this, I guess, to like the corporate world, as in like losing your job. And then from there on, then you just need to find a new job. Hopefully your resume in the corporate world has helped you to find a new job somewhere else. I don't think there's really a resume in social media. Like if you fuck it up, I don't know. Like one of my buddies, Connor Murphy, he was like my roommate in high school. He kind of went
Off the rails a little bit.
he went through something,
Yeah.
and now I'm not really sure what he's doing. But if you see the change from what kind of life he had before, as well as like probably maybe even just what kind of living he could have made from his engagement in social media versus now, it's kind of unbelievable, and it's really scary.
I think what you brought up a really good
So
point.
all I'm saying is that like I think, to answer Saint's question, because I went on like a tangent, I think my ultimate goal would just be to like create my business, and hopefully one that's at least successful enough for me to continue sustaining my family. if I have a business, at least something that's like I'm reliant on myself, then it'll feel a lot more comfortable, a lot safer
No, not based
instead
on
of
your
relying
audience.
on other people's opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a future business
Yeah, I
or
was gonna ask,
business
what's
that
the
you
business?
have possibly coming, or anything that you could speak on, or is there nothing really going, or is there something in the works?
Benji's just trying to be sweet and let me put in a little plug in.
Oh no, we genuinely want to know though.
There's been a creatine candy company I've been working on. There's a lot of creatine gummies in the market, but I have never found a creatine candy. So I with like a couple advisors kind of came up with this idea where I really want to create like a candy that people can consume, kind of like Sour Patch Kids, like how a lot of people like to like chop with some Sour Patch Kids or like a Rice Krispie treat like during their workout because it's fast acting glycogen for your body and also the best time for you to eat carbs to build muscle.
I drink carbs.
It's also the best time for you to consume creatine. So if I just mix it together and create my own creatine candy, it could be kind of cool.
During a workout, the best time to take creatine is during a workout.
After post-workout, sometimes pre-workout. Some people say pre, but most of the science shows post-workout.
Yeah.
And best time for you to consume carbs, fast-acting carbs, to replenish your glycogen for muscle gain is also post-workout.
Okay. Yeah, you see me
But
drinking
you could
it
also
during
do
your
it
post,
during
so,
workout.
Yeah.
It doesn't make that much
Interesting.
difference.
I'm sold.
How far along are you on the process for that?
Um,
How's it coming?
I think I've gotten most of the branding finished. I think, and picked out the manufacturers and discussed what the ideas are. So now we're in R&D right now.
Yeah.
Was it kind of scary stepping into that? Like, as far as thinking, like, I'm gonna go for this business. Like, was it kind of, because I feel like starting a business. I feel like is a totally,
Yeah.
it can be pretty daunting. I don't know. I feel like you don't know
Yeah.
what you don't know, right?
Right.
And when it comes to business, like, there's a lot we don't
Yeah.
fucking know,
Yeah.
right?
And it takes a lot of time. Like I had this personal call with Jeremy from Nectar Hard Seltzer.
Yeah.
You know, from
Jeremy Kim.
Under the Influence podcast. And he's like, bro, be fucking expecting to work like 17-hour work days straight. Literally we had to do that for a whole year without any revenue, without any income whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just to get the business started. Because that's kind of like what it takes in order for you to create a successful business these days, unless you have some fucking blowing out of the water idea, I guess.
What type of activities is that consist of? Like that 17-hour, work days. Is it like with like branding, deals, sales, all of the above? Wow.
It'd be constant work. I mean, obviously, we're also in the mix of making our own business as well. So it's super dope to have friends that we're all trying and do something. But I think both of us, our businesses are trying to hit a big white space right now, which is great. Like I said, creatine gummies they've been out. Like I take them right now, but your version obviously will support yours. But it's like yours just seems already interesting, just the way you're already like going with the approach, and it's just something different. And I think there's like one detail, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not, but like, when we eat these candies or the gummies that I get, you're only allowed to have like 3 or 4, right? And like they taste really good sometimes, and it's like 4 is just not enough. I think you brought up the idea of just having like a lot more where you can really like enjoy it, and it's like a nice treat after your workout too. And yeah, man, I think you have an amazing idea, and I think you have the following and the work ethic to make that like super successful. And
Thanks,
it's
bro.
getting backed by somebody who has knowledge. Like people who make supplements or clothing or jewelry, like I also look at the people who create it. Do these people truly have a passion for it, or do they have a sense of style? Like for jewelry, like I got into it because like I believe to a certain extent I do have a sense of style, and there's like a sense of energy of certain things that I do want to give out. And then obviously the team of people that we have, we all have like that same passion. Like this guy is a pick-me bitch, So like you got to have a pick-me bitch on your fucking team, because this is the type of guy we're selling to. If you don't know what a pick-me bitch is, it means he just wears designer clothes to make sure everyone sees him. So it's like getting people like that.
Little backstory. I was in Vegas for EDC, and some girl came up to me and says, "Damn, you look like a pick-me bitch." I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like,
Fucking awesome.
I was like, "Oh, you're wearing like Givenchy with this and this." I was like, "Damn, you're right. I am a pick-me bitch."
So like, yeah, coming back to your brand is like you are this known influencer, but you also have an education. You have a podcast where you are so intellectual and so deep in understanding. Like you're already talking about certain, drugs or enhancements and supplements, and you have so much knowledge to it. Like, I just can't see how people wouldn't support that,
Yeah.
So like, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm super stoked for that.
Thanks, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate
Can't
it.
wait.
That's why-
I can I get samples?
Huh?
Are we gonna get samples?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever need
yeah.
Like, let me
Taste
be the
testing?
tester.
Yeah.
Let me
Oh,
be the
yeah.
tester.
All right.
I'll
right.
smash the shit out of those.
if you need any survey research,
No,
that's
he
looking
might
for
eat
work,
too much, so don't use him. Use me. Just kidding.
I've good palate.
Yeah, he is
Good
a foodie
palate.
guy. Yeah.
I do want to bring it back to something we were talking about earlier because I think there's plenty of people that can kind of find value in this. Like, you've always been, I think the rough times you went through as a kid naturally made you very persistent and resilient. But I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into that because you brought up how, like, minus Chris, right? Like, we're all in career path. There is no blueprint. There is no stay in this space for X amount of years. You'll hit this promotion or this title, right? Like, there is no blueprint for this. There has to have been times where you were just like, dude, fuck this, right? Like, what has you want to pursue that? Like, you want to create a business, you want to keep going. And I know that, like you said earlier, that you took a hit to your social media and your audience. And like, some people take that and they're just like, that's it. Like, I can't, like, they'll take that to heart, and that'll be enough for them to just tap out. I know this is like a cheesy question, but like, what is your why? Why keep rolling with the punches? Why stay in this field that is so inconsistent that like no one knows what the future holds?
I think I just want to leave value the way I see value. And I feel like just making money for myself isn't that value. And I just want to be able to provide for my family and make sure that they're all happy before I die too. So I think that's it.
Is there like a certain type of kid that you really want to bring value to more than like?
I mean, the thing is, obviously I want to help as many people as possible, and everybody really does, I think. And I would love to like pick a certain demographic, but to be honest, sometimes the demographic picks me. I don't really pick it in a way. And obviously in the beginning, especially, I related more to like just Asian people and younger Asian audience as well. But there's definitely like I know that I've lived like kind of like a different-ish life just because I've like, I grew up in different places. I'm not just like a California Asian, even though I would have loved to. So I feel like I relate to like a big variety of people, and honestly, if I could just help out any of them in the same way that like say these podcasters have helped me like find peace in my life and I guess become a better man with higher value and higher integrity, then that's what I would love to do,
That's awesome, man.
Thank you, bro.
I guess from my end, it's just like this crazy journey that you've been going through. But what's been like the hardest part about, going through dealing with the haters, going through this journey? It's because we've been at it for a long time now, so I know that journey has had its ups and downs, but like, how are you keeping your sanity? How are you keeping that motivation to, take care of your family in the future? Like, what can you tell me a little bit about that and how you can help other people that may be going through that same journey?
It's kind of a weird thing for me to talk about now because it's like I have a different perspective on, say, my family, and I don't like to put anyone on blast. So it's kind of hard for me to talk about without mentioning them. Because I think a lot of the reasons that I do things now is because of my family or because of my parents and how I grew up. And even though it was like one of those stereotypical Asian households where you're basically just like a worthless, ugly piece of shit if you don't do anything right or you don't provide some kind of excellence. Honestly, I think it really did set me up for success in a weird way. There's a lot of things that I obviously had to fight through, because anyone could probably psychoanalyze someone like me and just be like, maybe this guy doesn't have like a great attachment style, or maybe this guy is like this or whatever because he didn't have a great upbringing. But at the same time, I think that pressure has made me someone that just like always wants to strive for value and excellence.
Yeah.
I was kind of referring to, let me reword that, but like social media has its like haters, comments, negativity. So from all that like social media drama, being a creator, has that affected your mentality at all?
That's what I was getting
Oh,
at.
you were okay. I just want to clarify. Okay.
If I had that background of people saying that stuff to me before, it bothers me a lot less now. So
Okay.
my own family was saying that to me, and
Got it.
I've had some periods there were like some periods where times I was a little bit self-harming or suicidal as a kid as a result of it, or times where when I was a little bit older, I had some drug addictions to kind of get over some things too, and obviously at the time these were all incredibly unhealthy, but I feel like now I've finally come to a place where I don't deal with any of that anymore, and I've never felt more happy and wholesome, and it's because of the people and the friends and family that I've found here. And so whenever I have like haters online and crap like that happens,
Got it.
it's easier for me to just be like, maybe they were in a place like I was, where I was just so unhappy, and it really has nothing to do with me. So honestly, it's kind of just easy for me to blow off and ignore it. Obviously it gets annoying, and it gets more annoying when it's like, say you have a podcast clip of like a guest and people just want to hit on your guest. Now that shit pisses me off, because I'm like, dude, like you're just you're just being fucking stupid, and like stop saying things to my guests that literally have nothing to do with the podcast clip or who they are. But in the end, like none of it matters.
Yeah, because I always wonder that, because I'm always on the outside of it all, and I see like it all happening to like people, all my friends in the content space, and I'm just like thinking about if I was in their position, it's like I don't know if I can keep a normal headspace for this long, because you're like an OG in like the content creating space. So I was curious about that journey, but that's great to hear that like nothing compares to like it's easy to dismiss because you've been through so much in your life and it's made you to be the person you are today. So that's great to hear.
I do think that you brought up an interesting point, because I truly believe that like the way people talk about other people, especially when it comes like negatively, it is a reflection of how they view themselves, or perhaps like their reflection of how they view the world. It's not necessarily like if you have to comment something negative online, I do believe that to a certain extent that is more of a reflection on yourself than it is about the person that you're commenting on or whatever. That could just be me, but like that is my take on it.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy how like you're reliant on your following, your audience, and then it's just like I feel like that would get to me after a certain amount of time, So it's interesting.
Benji, you've been pretty quiet over there.
I'm just processing, but yeah. I mean, I get butthurt sometimes when I get these insulting comments, so whatever. I'm just kidding.
I just want to preface though, before we say anything, that like I am proud of my parents and I do love them, and our relationship is different now as well. And
Yeah.
in the end, like I really just simply say these things because I understand that a lot of it is ingrained in Asian culture, and I'm sure there's people that can relate to it, but it's really nothing personal,
We've always talked outside the podcast, man. I know you have a lot of love for your family. Like, I know that's your biggest driving force. So I know if someone's watching this and they hear it, they're like, oh, like so negative about his family. But like, if you don't really understand or know him, like he truly does love his family, and you can seriously hear like he emphasizes family in everything he does. So like, don't take that or twist what he's saying or what we've said in the past. Like, we just have Asian parents, and like that's just their way back then of showing love in their sense. And it seems cruel, but like it made you who you are. It built you to who you are. Like, without those building blocks, you might not be who you are. And like that's the same thing. Like, I love my parents to death. Do I think they raised me quote unquote wrong in certain ways? Yeah, absolutely. But like I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't have the mentality or the drive I have now, or maybe even the communication skills or the amount of love I want to give to a friend or somebody else if I didn't go through that. Like that is all a reflection of like what your parents gave you, and then it's up to you when you have your own family. Now you know how to love and give to your kid. Because one thing I've learned with my parents, who were very hard on me and my sister to certain extents, is now that I have nieces and nephews from 2 to 8 years old, they treat them way different. And you can see like there's a different type of love, and there's like a sincerity of not even saying I'm sorry to me, but you can see like
they're coming around. They're seeing how you're raising these younger kids, and they want to just show them love before they leave this world too. So I think it's a full circle moment, man. When you have your own family and everything, I know your actual love, your mom and dad is gonna be super proud of you. And I think that's gonna be a very proud moment for them. And then you're gonna see them come around, I'm sure. And then you're gonna make everyone happy, So I think it's gonna be really awesome, man. So I know for a fact you love your family.
Yeah.
So do I.
I think you saying earlier, like, I don't want to put anyone on blast and like things are different. Like that in and of itself was like a reflection of like things have clearly changed. I think that's like beautiful, man. I'm genuinely like happy for you, bro. Like, because family is, no matter what the past was, like family, you only have one family as far as like who brought you into the world and stuff like that. So I'm glad things are different for you, man. Like genuinely.
So yeah.
I think unfortunately, like that is, unfortunately that is all we have time for today. But any parting thoughts from you, Nyle, that you want to leave?
I thought we were gonna have a more fun, lighthearted podcast.
Dude, what?
Got this shit fucking deep, man. Saw your clips with Chrissy. You guys were talking about like boys and girls and shit. I was expecting to do that.
Hey, we can do that. We can't do that.
Well, anyways.
Yeah,
Any other
that is all the
closing
time
thoughts?
that we have for this episode. But so thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of the Y2K show. Thank you, Nyle, for coming out here. Where can they find? What's your tag and your podcast?
Everyone follows him already, but
I know, yeah, everyone probably follows him already, but
Thanks. Well, thanks for having me on, man.
Oh, yeah, of
Honestly,
course.
This was dope, and it's way more comfortable and way more fun to do it with my homies. So
Yeah.
thanks.
yeah.
And it's just Nyle Nayga everywhere. Nyle
And the podcast.
Nayga. Oh, podcast is Transparent with Nyle Nayga. Yeah, transparent with an E.
if you want to
Trends.
help your boy make some money, make sure you use all his codes for huge supplements, right?
Yeah,
that
and then
huge?
code Benji for Young LA.
That's a real one right there, yeah.
I do need the extra $20.
Oh, shit.
Well, yeah.
I'm your host, Saint Yim.
Chris.
Benji.
See you guys next time. Peace.